Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Tom's Gadget Garage. Today's video is intended to answer a question that I get on a regular basis, but that I always welcome because, quite honestly, it's very thought-provoking. And that question is, out of all the scooters that I've reviewed on this channel, if I can only have one, which one would I choose? As you can imagine, this is a very difficult question to answer, especially when you consider that there are so many different types of scooters on the market today. For example, you've got budget electric scooters, which are perfect for cruising around campus, riding around the neighborhood. And you've got your commuter scooters, which in many cases can replace a car and are perfect for longer distance rides as well as commuting to work. Then you've got scooters that are built for riding both on and off the beaten path, and those usually have beefier tires, a more robust suspension, as well as more ground clearance. A step above some of those is going to be your more performance-oriented scooters, which are also kind of designed to be ridden both on and off the beaten path. They can reach speeds up to 40, 50 miles an hour. And then, of course, you've got your hyper scooters, which are really well suited for people that are just unhappy with the situation with gravity on Earth and need something that is fast enough to get them into low Earth orbit. So as you can see, there are a ton of options available. So when it comes to answering this question, it's really going to boil down to what is most important for me. What are my requirements? Because that may differ from one person to the next. So if I could only have one electric scooter, I really need to take a step back and really understand what it is that I look for in an everyday scooter. And that's typically going to be something that's lightweight, portable, as well as capable. And for me, the scooter that best exemplifies those characteristics is going to be the Apollo Go. And I know that giving an answer to a question like this can be a little bit polarizing because there are a lot of thoughts and feelings out there around what makes an ideal scooter. And as I said, it varies from person to person. But what I'm going to go ahead and do now is go over the 6 reasons why the Apollo Go is my choice for an everyday rider. And of course, I do want to let you know that I actually purchased this scooter with my own money. It is not sponsored at all. Nobody asked me to make this video. This is simply a response to a lot of the questions I get about what would be my ideal scooter. And listen, I don't want this just to be about me and what, I like or don't like. I would love to hear what your ideal scooter is. So if you could only have one electric scooter, let me know in the comment section below what that would be. All right, folks, so here is the Apollo Go in all of its glory. And reason number 1 why I choose this scooter as my everyday scooter is that it weighs in at less than 50 pounds. Actually, on my scale, it weighs in at 49 pounds, which makes it relatively lightweight, especially when you consider all the power and features that it comes with. It's also a very portable scooter in that you can actually fold this thing down. You've got a very robust latching mechanism, and when it does fold, it actually gets into a very compact state, which makes it very easy to throw it into the trunk of your car, throw it across your back seats, or store it in a very compact place. The second reason why I choose the Apollo Go is because it comes with dual motors. So as you can see up front, you've got a motor, and in the rear, you've got a motor. And these are both 350 nominal watt motors, each of which is capable of cranking out a peak 750 watts of power. So you're talking about 1,500 watts of combined power. Now, having those dual motors is going to be particularly important if you live in a place with lots of hills or especially steep hills, because I'll tell you what, there's nothing worse than, investing in a scooter, taking it out on a hill and realizing it doesn't have enough power to make it up, which basically means you have to hop off and Fred Flintstone it to the top of the hill, which is not ideal, especially with a scooter that you plan to use, for commuting purposes or taking on your next adventure. So having the power is really important, and this Apollo Go has plenty of power to spare. It's gotten me up our endurance hill climb tests. It's also gotten me up our extreme hill climb test, which of course I'll include links to those videos up above as well as in the description below. The third reason why I choose the Apollo Go is because the layout of its controls. So as you can see, with my hands naturally placed on the scooter, I have full access to all the controls within reach of my fingertips. So here on the right-hand side of the scooter, we have our power button, which also doubles as our mode selector button. We've got our right turn signal button here, which actuates that turn signal. And then we've also got our thumb throttle. Here on the left-hand side of the scooter, we've got our mode button, which if you push it once will turn on your headlight. If you double click, will turn on the stem light or turn off the stem light. On the left-hand side, you also have a left turn signal, which turns that on. You've also got a dedicated regenerative braking system lever, which when you push that, it engages that. And then of course we have access to the bell, which you can hear here. And then also the left hand brake, which is the manual brake on this scooter. So as you can see, the layout of the controls is really important to me because pretty much every scooter out there, if you open the instruction manual, they all say always ride with 2 hands on the handlebar. Never remove a hand from the handlebar while you are riding. And for very good reason. You know, scooters aren't as stable as something like an electric bike. So if you're riding around, cruising around at speed and you take your hand off the handlebar, you can very well end up eating it, which is not ideal. And so you've got scooters out there though that put some of the controls of the scooter, like turning on your headlights or changing speed modes, at the center of the scooter's display, which means that if you want to engage with any of those functions, you have to take your hand off the handlebar, which makes 0 sense. So kudos to Apollo for building intelligently designed controls on your scooter. Reason number 4 why I choose the Apollo Go is the fact that it's got a full suspension. So as you can see, under this boot here, we've got a coil spring up front. And then if we work our way in the back, you'll see we've got a rubber block. So having a suspension on a scooter isn't a must-have in all scenarios, but if you are going to be riding around on rough roads, rough bike paths, sidewalks, it does a really good job of absorbing a lot of those smaller, lumps and bumps in the road, which makes for a more comfortable ride, especially if you're going to be cruising around longer distances. Now keep in mind this is designed as a city commuter scooter, so not really intended to be riding off the beaten path on especially rough terrain. Like if you want to cruise around on hard-packed dirt, it does an excellent job, but if you're going to be going out on some, rough trails, things like that, it's not what this scooter is designed for. Reason number 5 why I choose the Apollo Go is that it is app enabled. Now, having an app is in and of itself a polarizing topic because some people like it, some people do not. But my argument for having an app is that the manufacturer can improve the riding experience over time. A lot of scooter companies do beta testing before they release a scooter, and so they have people riding it around, testing it out. But a lot of times when a scooter is released to production, now you've got thousands of people riding around on these things, piling up tens of thousands of miles, and issues can crop up. So having an app-enabled scooter that allows for firmware updates allows the manufacturer to actually go out there and push out fixes to issues that arise. When a scooter doesn't have an app, what you get out of the box is basically what you're stuck with. And so the next improvement to that scooter that you can expect is on the next version of the scooter that they release, which means you're going to be buying a new scooter, which isn't always ideal. And finally, reason number 6 why I choose the Apollo Go is the build quality. This scooter is built like a tank. It is solid. It's also very simple in its design, which means you have less things to go wrong. I mean, look at this folding mechanism here. This latch is very robust. They've got multiple fail-safes on it as well as this band here as an extra safety precaution. Everything on here is solid. I'm not getting any kind of, creaks or squeaks from the scooter while riding it around. It runs pretty much silent. And as you can see here, very robust construction. It's very simple. You don't have a whole lot going on here. And that's one of the things that I love about this scooter. So those are my 6 reasons why I choose the Apollo Go if I only had one scooter to keep. Now, with that being said, does that mean that the Apollo Go is best in each of those categories? Absolutely not. Does this have the best suspension in the market? It does not. Scooters like the Segway 9BOT Max G2 have a much better and more refined suspension. That scooter has hydraulic suspension up front, dual coil springs in the rear, which makes for a very smooth ride. But at the end of the day, this Apollo Go provides more than enough dampening for me to be happy, which checks one of my boxes. Does this scooter get the best range on the market? It does not. In fact, the Apollo Go in this particular segment and around this price point is the worst performing scooter when it comes to range. I got 19.2 miles of range on a full charge, and of course I'll link that range test in the description below, but there are other scooters that get better range. Is this the fastest scooter? It is not. They say it can reach, speeds up to 28 miles an hour. I personally got it up to 27 miles an hour, but there are faster options on the market today. And so as you can see, it's not perfect in every category, and it's not even the best in each of those categories, but it does check more boxes for me than most other scooters do. So if I had to choose only one scooter, it would be this one. Now, like I mentioned before, let me know what your scooter of choice is. If you could only have one scooter, let me know what it would be in the comments section below. And of course, I will be including, a link to the entire playlist of content I've made on the Apollo Go, as well as comparison videos to some of its competitors. And if you are interested in picking one of these things up, I will include a link in the description below. And if you use that link to make your purchase, it absolutely helps support this channel and keeps the wheels moving on future reviews. And as always, thank you so much for tuning into Tom's Gadget Garage. We'll see you next time.